Say if Mark Zuckerberg made $50,000 a year, which is what he makes. But let's say Mark Zuckerberg made $50,000 a year. And let's say all of a sudden he goes, wow, I got to find another career. It would be tough. $50,000 a year is a lot of money. A lot of piggies make $50,000 a year. Those are the people that used to work for him. Let's say one day Mark Zuckerberg wakes up and he goes to the local, I don't know, sandwich shop in town. Say, Zuckerberg Sandwiches in San Francisco. And he goes to Zuckerberg Sandwich Shop and he looks on the door of the sandwich shop. And it says, like us or subscribe to us on YouTube, right? Subscribe to us on Google. Subscribe to us on Twitter. Subscribe to us on, I don't know, Business Plus. Subscribe to us on Subscribe. And nowhere on that door does it say F, as in failure. It's like, damn, $50 billion went down the drain. It all happens in one day. I got a really, really, really good idea for a zombie film. Anyway, I think he would be shocked. There's a cool cat right there. See it? We're right in the alley. He'd be shocked. Facebook got 2 stars. There's another cool cat right there. They hold a lot of photos, a lot of memory. A lot of memory and a lot of photos. Those photos belong to other people. They do not belong to Facebook. Congress is about to smack down on Google, this McCarthyism kind of thing. It's something to do with searching, the search engine. Well, you know what? If they think they can build a better search engine than Google, then let them. Not without ripping off Google. Because Google was the one that came up with the idea of launching in all the search engines together on one search engine. That's how they started Google. They started Google because they used all the search engines or gave you the option to go to other search engines. If you were searching up the word encyclopedia or a book, you could go to Yahoo. You could go to AOL. Or you could go to AOL to see what they would have. And then they gave the options. Google became popular because they led you to other search engines. That's all they did. You could use Google. Then what they finally figured out was everybody will use us because we promote everyone. And also, thank you, Mark Zuckerberg, for promoting me on Facebook. I really do appreciate that. Just like Apple promoted Daniel Johnston. You know what I mean? And Daniel Johnston was very appreciative because he was a musician, and he was appreciative that the fact that Apple helped him. And I do appreciate it. Thanks for helping. And also Google, I wouldn't really worry about it because all you do is just recommend other search engines. And you just, do what you always did. You always be the best. You were the best because you put other people before you. Now I gotta drop off this food. Zuckerberg does not understand community guidelines no more than the 5 cops that went to prison or I'm sorry, 5 cops that were charged with murder and are going to prison. So there's 5 police officers that recently are charged as murderers that murdered their own kind for the sake of law and order. And there's no company that follows the law more than Facebook. When you're in heaven, God will say, oh, these are really cool houses. There's Mark. He's filing everybody's face on the clouds. Over there in the corner on the cloud with the little computer. He'll put your face, there's a little Statue of Liberty right there. He'll put your face on your own personal cloud or something, I don't know. I'm just making it up as I go along. It's a really cool neighborhood. Oh, there's an antique right here. It's an antique car on a wall. There's a bunch of stuff right here. And there are 2 little doggies right here. See, because of social media and because of the fact that we can live stream, people are a little more careful before they start doing stuff. But I'm so happy, I'm so grateful every day when I wake up that I do not work for Facebook. Every day that goes by, I wake up and I have a big smile on my face because I know I don't work for Facebook, and I'm happy about that. But Google is such a cool company because it was cool back in the day in college when you get on Google, because you're like, oh, okay, Google recommends AOL for this particular, question, because you'd have a question, you'd want to search it out. It's maybe a word, you were trying to define a word, a better word for something. And so you would look down and they would say, okay, there's 40,000 results under American Online. That's what Google recommends. And Google has 20,000 results, or something. Then another word you look up, it'd say Google has 100,000 results and American Online would only have 1,000 results or something. And it was the fastest guy that could figure it out. And Apple at the time was still kind of struggling because Apple was a loser company, which is kind of cool to have a loser company. This is off of Washington Avenue right here. Because like Bob Dylan says, I recommended one of his albums, The Greatest Hits of Bob Dylan, 1967. Like Bob Dylan says in interviews and stuff, or people have said that he said that there's no success like failure, and failure is no success at all. So really, it goes, there's no success like success, and failure is no failure at all. You know what I mean? You could take things literally. There's no success like success. It's the 60s were backwards because they were all lawbreakers, because they burned their draft cards and they didn't want to go step on a landmine in Vietnam. So they immediately started off right out of high school breaking the law by burning their draft card or being one of the 5 that would be shot and killed in Vietnam, because Vietnam was one of the most violent wars of all time, and it was televised very, very carefully, and everyone could watch it as it happened. So if you were one of the 5, then you didn't come back. So if you left, the odds weren't very, very good. And we just had a 40-year war that was similar, that you just come back with a missing limb, which didn't feel very good either. Or you'd be blown to smithereens by an IED. My friend, I don't even know how he died. This Jewish guy I knew named Foster. He was a sergeant in the Marines. Don't even know. Don't even tell me. He just never came back. He was going to be a cop, but he hit a cop in a bar on accident because the guy wasn't wearing his uniform and insulted his mother. So he decked him. He hit him right in the face. His mother died, she coughed up blood. He saw it actually happen. So when the guy insulted his mother, he walked over and did what he should have done and punched the cop right in the face. And big bad Mr. Cop took off his little hat, his little round hat that he had on, and filed a report against Foster, and he lost his career as a cop and had to become a fireman, a volunteer fireman coming out of the southern states, and died in what's called the 40-year war. Never made it back. He died as a Marine, as they should, as they're programmed to do. But he was a sergeant too, so it could have been the whole platoon. See, that's better than coding, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. It's better than coding. Coding is where you sit down and you become a target for everyone, because this whole thing is run by computers. I don't know how he died. Somehow. Probably his platoon would know if any of them survived. And probably his company would know. So it's online. His name, Foster Harrington, is his name. And he was a United States Marine. So why don't you talk to him about coding when you get there? You can talk about how you invented the new platform for social media and see what he thinks. He probably doesn't care. He only talked about saws. That's kind of a machine gun that they used in Afghan, and also the Sunni Triangle. When they kicked in people's doors, they always had a backup saw. What a saw is, it's kind of like a miniature M60, and it shoots high rounds of ammunition that's very deadly and very, like an M60 bullet could go through almost anything. They shoot them out of helicopters. A saw is like a miniature version of that, so it just tear a person right apart with one little squeeze of the trigger. It operated very, very, very quickly, and it was pretty hefty, so you had to have muscles to carry it around. He carried that when he first went over there, and then I think the second time he probably just had an M16, or what they call the I think they call it the A1 M16 or the A16. Also known as the Sweet 16 is what the military calls it, because they redesigned the Vietnam's M16. I doubt they're using the AR-15, but they did use the M16. Anyway, Facebook has 2 stars. 2. It's not good. The Facebook Messenger, the Meta is doing good, but their employees didn't get to have Christmas time. A lot of them didn't. Many of them were fired, or they were laid off. That's a Charles Dickens story right there. All these Meta employees coming back with chains on, telling Ebenezer Scrooge, remember me, I worked for you when you had Meta. I didn't, but I could have. Meta is designed to send out multiple messages to many people, or just one message to a friend or whatever, on what's called Messenger, and it's a chat, almost like a chat room. There's all kinds of chat rooms all over the place. Hey, this is the last thing, Mark Zuckerberg. I just wanted to tell you one more thing, because this one's kind of towards you. Did you check out YouTube's community? So you can go to YouTube and you can have like a little community page, just like your Facebook wall. Isn't that cool? YouTube's pretty cool, isn't it? Anyway, I think it's a good idea. But Facebook does have a little bit of a problem with video. You can't get as many videos up because it's only designed for words, and the word will outlive the heavens and earth. All the way from California. I don't know, Mr. Zuckerberg, if you're going to heaven or hell. Does it say somewhere in the Bible that billionaires or trillionaires or whatever it is, does it say that they go to heaven or hell, or does it say anything about the rich? It does talk about the rich in the Bible. We have to interpret that. But one thing that Jesus did, Jesus Christ, in front of the rich people, in front of the rich and powerful people, is what he did was he held up the babies. He held the babies up in front of them. And it made them mad. The rich got mad because he wasn't holding them up. But he was trying to teach the rich a lesson, especially the powerful. He was trying to teach the very, very rich people, the people that make lots and lots of money, you can't buy this. This cannot be bought because I already purchased it, is what he said. Because we're all purchased. Under the blood of the Lamb, we're purchased. Meaning we are bought. But he was mostly saying that he had already created this. He had already created this baby. And this baby already is something that belonged to him, because when they looked at it, they realized that those children belong to the one and only Messiah. It was strange because they could see it. He didn't have to explain it. He did it with an action. And when he held the baby up, they learned. Area right here, Texas Christian University. And it's in purple right there. But the last thing is this: that Jesus was trying to teach the rich people that babies could not be bought with their money, or anybody's money really, and that he had purchased them spiritually, meaning those all children belong to Jesus Christ, all of them, all around the world. We're all purchased by him, so we can't be bought or sold. We're already purchased. It's like it's done. He already won the war. So he already defeated the enemy. He defeated him with a cross. It's called a crucifixion. Some call it crucifix, but it's crucifixion. He beat him by hanging on the cross. I always thought he hung there for 3 days, but he didn't. He actually just hung there for almost like a work day. And then they let him down, and he was dead for 3 days. I was always confused as a Christian when I was starting off. I was like, I thought Jesus hung on the cross for 3 days. And I finally figured out God was not that cruel. He only made him hang for like half a work day or something. And then they took him down and put him in a tomb. And after the 3rd day, he rose to remind everyone that you have the ability to do more on Facebook than you think. You have the ability to baptize, and you have the ability to heal. Those are the two things: baptize and heal. And then he went up in a cloud. He was one of the ones that beat death. He conquered death. So he rose on the 3rd day to remind everybody on Facebook that you have the ability to baptize and you have the ability to heal. And he also, not just Facebook, but he reminded everyone in the world. He did it as I'm speaking. It's constantly going on. The whole crucifixion, it's constantly happened. And nothing on this world makes the devil mad. Nothing in the world makes the devil more mad than the crucifixion. It makes him very mad, because that reminds the devil that he lost and that the kingdom will reign. Along with my family, which I'm part of that heritage. I'm part of that bloodline. And so is my family. And remember, the enemy wants to do 3 things. First, he wants to steal. He wants to rob. He wants to steal. Then he wants to kill. And then he wants to destroy bloodline. But just because he wants to do it doesn't mean he gets to. And in actuality, he doesn't get to. Since we belong to that bloodline, since I belong to the bloodline of Jesus Christ, and so does my family, we already won. So don't be a sore loser. But Facebook's neat, let me tell you. It's a neat little idea. We'll see how long it lasts. This is Dutch's right here. That's the burritos. Burritos are right here. And this is probably hamburgers here on this side. Oh yeah, that's it now. It's right here. And that's the campus, TCU. The theme of Dutch's is like a dugout, but there's got a lot of cowboy. Well, I'm not cowboy. Football. It's a football theme. They probably have some Dallas Cowboy stuff in there. I don't know. It's like a TCU football dugout kind of theme. those rocks are like monoliths. You see them right there? Kind of makes me wonder what in the world that is. I haven't really been on campus a whole lot, but they look like monoliths. 2001 kind of thing, but not as perfect. You can kind of see them. It's like the front aspect of the campus from Bowie, West Bowie. And I guess the other thing is called University, Texas Christian University. It's a pretty big campus. They're moving the stadium down the way, though, as you say, across the way. Kia, what happens with Kia is the Bluetooth can reach out to your phone and swallow up the sound. It just did it just a while ago. I can hear it now as long as I use this device, which is known as Evo or Uvo. If I make any movements on media, it'll cancel out the camera. So if I hit this button, the camera will shut off. But we can see it in a minute, so let me shut it off for a minute. All right, we're back on. So you can see the Bluetooth audio is connected. That's what can reach out and silence the phone if you're in range of the actual Bluetooth of the actual phone. It doesn't always do it. It does it sometimes. Let's see if it cancels it out. If I hit a button and it turns off, I'll let you know. If I hit media, it will turn off. So let me turn it off. Okay, how it obviously works for Apple CarPlay on this particular model, you have to be plugged into this device right here. And this is basically, it's a USB right here, down here. This is the USB. And this is the plug for the Apple, and that's Apple CarPlay. So the USB connects in here, and Apple CarPlay is ignited, or it'll work. The Bluetooth, if I hit media, it'll shut off. Ready? So when you have this plugged in and you hit media at the same time, it turns the camera off. So let's try it. I'll plug in the camera. So I plugged in the USB. USB is, okay, you can see it. Apple CarPlay at the top. Disconnecting Bluetooth. Okay. When I hit media, it turns the camera off. Watch. The camera turned off when I hit media. And there's Release by Pearl Jam. Now I can use Car Apple all through here. And here's the library. And let's go to library. Library, okay. So there's a library of all the music and songs and everything. I can go to Waze or whatever device I want to. And here's my platform, which is like a little computer. So I got Google Maps, Waze, Bandcamp's on here. If I press it, it might turn it off. Let me see. It probably won't. We're actually on here. The Cole and Linda Filmmakerband is on Bandcamp. We've got 2 songs. One, Pits the Law, which is a modified cover. It's a tweaked cover of Elliott Smith's Pits the Law. And then we have our own original song called She Passed Out, which is the name of an album. Our 2022 album. But this is all best of Bandcamp, all the Bandcamp stuff. I have a friend in Austin named Missy Engelman, also known as Melissa Engelman. She's on Bandcamp too. She does very well on Bandcamp. I was going to go to Austin and see her play, but I'm dealing with other things right now, so I'll just have to watch the live stream. So this is all it does right here. So that's part of Apple Car. I have a really bad problem calling it Car Apple, but it's Apple Car is the program. Let's detach. So we detached, there's the copyright, and we detached this Apple device here, which goes into the USB. The USB looks like that. That's the USB for sure. USB goes in here. Now we're by Bluetooth. So it recognized me. Let's say I hit media, it'll cut it off. All right, now we're operating only through Bluetooth. Okay, if I hit media, it'll sometimes cut it off. Now radio, let's see. Radio's working. Go back to media. All right, it cut through the media. So it does that, anyway. Basically, it's going through Bluetooth audio now. So it goes 2 different ways. I haven't figured out how it does it, but if I step out of the car and I try to listen to something on my phone, I won't always hear my phone because it's still connected to the Bluetooth audio. So the Bluetooth swallows the sound. So if I turn this off, it's turning off parking location. Could be transmitted if I had it hooked up on, okay, now this is what I wanted it to look. If I had it hooked up to this device, right? All menus. UVO. It's called UVO. And that's what Kia deals with, is UVO. Sometimes I'll call it Evo because it's evil, but it's actually called UVO. It's not evil, it's just, you know what I mean, I'm just being funny. Okay, UVO is what it's called. It has voice commands. You can leave like a voice message, like a voice memo. So I can hit a voice memo, and that goes to the memory of the car. So these 3 messages here are on the memory of the car, if I want to use it. I can also use my phone. But anyway, what I mean is when I get out of the car, and I'll show you. And let's say I'm standing like right here by my car. In some cases, I can't hear my phone because the Bluetooth of the phone is still connected to the turned off car. So I gotta go pick up some hamburgers and drop them off at your doorstep.
Where do you want to go?